Hey everyone, it's Jax again from the Popcorn View Podcast. Today's gonna be my episode 48 AEW recap from 8/14 rather. Um, I've been gone for a while, guys, so I appreciate you guys holding me down, still watching some of my other videos. My daughter had a sweet 16 slash quinceañera this past week, had family over. So I just took some time off to relax. And I had some previous recorded episodes for, Happy Gilmore 2 and Fantastic Four. So I kind of aired those. But getting back into the swing of things, guys. So those of you guys who were waiting, thank you for being patient. But let's start it up again. AEW recap for Wednesday, episode 48, like I mentioned. Started off with actually MJF having a segment coming out with his new CMLL championship. Looks like he won it a few weeks ago. And, pretty much just started talking shit to the crowd like normal. Crowd's booing him. And Hangman Adam Page comes out for face to face, confronts him, and just pretty much calls MJF a coward the entire time. You're a gutless coward. You're this, you're that. You don't have the balls to do it. And even the crowd was like, "He's a bitch. He's a bitch." Chant, rang out for a while. MJF finally got enough, got pissed off. He was like, "Don't worry about it. I'm gonna execute my contract." He was like, "You don't have the balls to do it, especially at Forbidden Door." So MJF slips, falls for it, and goes, "I'll see you at Forbidden Door." So that's probably going to be the main event: Hangman Adam Page versus MJF. Don't think Hangman's going to lose this late, but I feel like maybe the Hurt Syndicate story with MJF was kind of a ruse to try to throw people off. Um, it just doesn't make sense how they broke off that easily, and no one's having any kind of controversy. No one's jumping in on each other's matches. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen here. Honestly, um, we'll see how it plays out, guys. But we will see MJF and Hangman Adam Page at Forbidden Door for the AEW World Championship. Thought they were going to play this out, kind of push it out a little bit longer, but MJF will be there. He's technically supporting CMLL because he is the champion there. So technically, that's their Forbidden Door. They're going to have CMLL, New Japan, even though a lot of those guys are in a tournament right now. Some guys from New Japan are going to be in it. You're also going to have girls from Stardom, AEW, and Ring of Honor. So we're going to have a lot of people going on, guys. But Forbidden Door is looking pretty stacked. I think they already have 8 matches announced. So we'll see what happens. The way it started, I personally have said this multiple times. I am tired of the John Moxley with the Death Rider segments. John Moxley just talks about random shit, but they were in Cincinnati, which he's home there. That's his hometown. So it makes sense they were going to show John Moxley. Well, he starts off by saying, "Darby, you will not get this match at Forbidden Door. You're not going to get the match. Don't even think about it." He goes in, then his music plays. He walks in with Yuta and Marina Shafir. Haven't seen Pac in a long time, so I'm not sure if there's a contract dispute or, maybe he's back home in London. Not really sure what's going on there. And Claudio was missing too. Apparently he put Claudio in a body bag last week, or Yuta, one of those two in a body bag, Darby Allin. Well, that match starts off, Moxley actually comes to the ring, has a match with Kevin Knight. I'm really heavy on Kevin Knight. I actually like the kid a lot. But we all knew that John Moxley was going to win. He's got people on the outside helping him. You know, Kevin Knight looked good, but this was kind of a quick match, if that makes sense to anybody. Nothing major happened. Kevin Knight looked good. Moxley looked good. Numbers game, like always, wins it out. But he choked the shit out of Kevin Knight in the middle of the ring. So I'll post that to the side here in a little bit. But Moxley does take it. And like per usual, you know, Speedball was actually there, try to help him. Got beat up by Yuta, got attacked by Marina Shafir. Um, you do have Darby Allin come out though, dragging the body bag again. At first, I thought he might have had Claudio in it, but it was just an empty body bag. Comes in, drops the skateboard on Yuta, puts Yuta inside the fucking body bag. Now, don't get me wrong. Yeah, this part of the show, but that would scare the fuck out of me. Somebody put me in the body bag. That's just me. Um, Starts beating down on Yuta. Like I said, puts him in the body bag, goes for the coffin drop, and then out of nowhere, Claudio shows up and gives him that European uppercut, just beats the shit out of Darby and puts Darby in the body bag and puts him on his shoulders. I thought he was going to go for like a torture rack or maybe his swing, but he actually put him on his shoulders, spun him off, and he just landed. Awkward as shit. You know, Darby didn't even know he was falling because he's in the bag, but he's that crazy that he allows people to do that stuff to him. Well, to each his own. Well, we did have a surprise there. Will Ospreay shows up, helps Darby out. A match is announced. You're gonna have a few guys there: Darby Allin and Will Ospreay. And if I'm not mistaken, there's someone from New Japan and a couple more people mixed in there against the Death Riders. Gabe Kidd and I think the Young Bucks actually got kind of pulled into that too. Um, but you know, it's just crazy to be honest with you. We're gonna have a lot of people in this pay-per-view. Like there's already 8 matches announced. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like 10. So this is gonna be a long pay-per-view, but AEW always puts on great pay-per-views, guys. So I recommend you watching it. Forbidden Door this month. It's gonna be a killer. It's gonna be in London, so it makes sense. I will say though, Renee actually stopped Will Ospreay and goes, "Hey, you know, you said you were injured, that you weren't going to be able to come back until Forbidden Door. You seem like you're here a little bit earlier. Like, what's going on?" He was like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm going to heal up." So he's technically still has an injury. He's nursing, so we'll see how it goes, guys. Honestly, um, later on, you did have a match with a bunch of women, former AEW championships, former TBS championship, TBS champion. Just a lot of women there. You had the CEO, Mercedes Monet, 8 belts, Mercedes Monet, with Sky Blue, Tekla. Um, and it was just kind of a weird interaction because you did have Sky Blue, Julia Hart, and Tekla come out, and they called themselves, what was the name of their group again? Um, I forgot. I'm sorry. I forgot the name of their group. But in the beginning, when they try to like do their little triangle, Mercedes was like to the side and she kind of jumped, try to get into it and hold the girl's hands, and they kind of looked at her funny, like, "What the fuck are you doing?" It was just a weird interaction. I know that Tekla has issues with Queen Aminata, which she's on the other side. Willow also has issues with the TBS champion, but then Alex Windsor also has a match against the TBS champion, I think next week. So it was like they were just different feuds going on. Decent match. Queen Aminata is actually doing her thing, guys. They're really building her up to the next stage. I wouldn't be surprised if she wins a title, whether it's TBS or possibly the Pure Champion Women's Championship or a Television Championship, sorry, in Ring of Honor. Still think AEW or Ring of Honor needs to have women's tag team champions. There's so many opportunities for the men, and I feel like the women this year or the past few years have been killing it. They deserve tag team champions. You're building up all these teams. Just do it already. Don't know what you guys are waiting for. Honestly, Forbidden Door probably would have been the best thing because you could have had girls from Stardom tag teams in the tournament, girls from New Japan, women from Ring of Honor, women from AEW. That would have been a perfect example to have the women's tag team championships integrated into AEW or Ring of Honor. You know, whichever you decide to pull the trigger first. Um, but all in all, a good match. You did have Tony Storm watching over the balcony and had her music playing, and then out of nowhere, excuse me, like a couple minutes in, boom, Athena's music hits, almost overshadowing Tony Storm, and she was pissed. You saw her live it. Good match and all. Everybody showed their feud, like I was mentioning. Alex Windsor went after Mercedes Monet. You had Willow go after Tekla. You have Aminata go after Tekla. Then you had Sky Blue there. I still feel like Sky Blue's a sidekick every time she's in the ring, and it kind of sucks. I feel like she's a good wrestler. Good expressions on her face, good moves, and it just sucks because they make her look like the sidekick every time she's in the ring. Like Tekla's technically new to that group, and they're already showing Tekla stronger than Sky Blue, but that's me. What I will say is though, everybody's been hating on Mercedes Monet. I feel like she's been putting over a lot of women. Yes, she's been winning championships. Don't get me wrong. The girl is on fire right now. But everybody's hating on her. She's putting a lot of people over. When she went wrestled Aminata during this match, was great against her, made her look really good. Same thing with Alex Windsor. Same thing with what's her name? Willow. She puts on a great match. She makes these girls look good. Don't know what the hate is about. You know, like I mentioned before, you had Kenny at one time, had 4 championships. You had other people in other promotions. Shit, you got women right now in NXT, TNA champion, JC Jane, and the NXT World Champion. What's the difference? She's holding different promotions belt, and she's promoting women's championships. She's promoting these other companies. What's the problem? Mercedes, keep doing your thing. Don't know when you're going to lose your title, but as of right now, keep racking up championships, girl. Do your thing. You know, fuck everybody else pretty much. But in all, that match just exploded. Um, Honestly, it was just so much going on. I don't even remember who fucking won the match. I remember that at one point you had Tony come down, you had Athena come down. It was just an all-out brawl. And at the end, it was announced that you're gonna have Athena and the TBS Championship, Mercedes Moné versus Alex Windsor and Tony Storm at Forbidden Door, if I'm not mistaken, or next week. But that match is going to happen. So it's just nice that they're kind of integrating everybody again. I think Alex Windsor's from Stardom. Technically, Athena is with Ring of Honor, and then TBS Championship and World AEW World Championship is part of AEW. So again, just getting everybody in there. Um, but it was an exciting match. Honestly, the way that match went, I would have rather see that match over the main event with the Ops and LFI. Yes, it was a decent match, but the women's match was actually better. They should have closed out the night, but that's me. Um, you had a match there with Adam Copeland versus Stokely Hathaway. Now we all knew Stokely was going to lose, no matter what. He was going to lose this fight. Um, you did have Stokely kind of like charge up, you know, like a Super Saiyan or whatever the hell it is, and charge with a spear to Copeland there, and he just falls down, hits him in the waist side, just falls to the ground, you know, like bouncing off a brick wall. They go again, he tries it again, falls again. The crowd goes one more time, laughing him up. He was like, fuck that, tried to leave. You know, and Copeland just fucking with him, just playing with him. At one point, FTR actually came towards the ring and he's like, hold on, y'all can get in the ring, you know, that restraining order is over, you know, it is null and void. And while he kind of had the attention of the other FTR guys, Stokely turns around, puts like powder in his hand, and throws it in the face of Copeland. Well, they start beating down on Copeland. FTR jumps in. So that does make their restraining order null and void, like I mentioned earlier. But they are getting their hands on Copeland now. And what do you hear? You hear, Christian's music hit, come back down to the ring with Spike, actually helps out and chases out FTR with Stokely. And they heard the fans what they wanted. They're like, "Hey, hug it out, hug it out." At first, Christian wasn't having it. You know, it sounded like he didn't want to do it. It looked like he didn't want to do it. And then finally, you know, Copeland just like moves Spike out the way and hugs his friend. Shit, technically his brother. You know. Um, so we were gonna see Edge there. Excuse me. I knew I was gonna slip one time. Christian and Edge, Adam Copeland get back together. I do see them winning the tag team titles at one point. Don't know who is going to be the tag team champions at that point, but I do see Christian and Copeland winning the AEW World Tag Team Champions, possibly before the year's out. I know these guys are up in age, and at some point they are going to retire, even if they might just be coaches, but they aren't going to wrestle, you know, for 5-10 years to come. I'd be surprised if they actually do. But it's nice to see those guys get back together. I grew up watching the Hardys versus Edge and Christian versus the Dudleys. Maybe we can have the Dudley boys come back and wrestle, you know, Christian and Copeland one last time before they retire. Let me know. You did see Bully Ray, I think, wrestled Zilla Fatu with the help of Ricochet, won the match, if I'm not mistaken, from some highlights that I saw. So it's possible that we might see, you know, the Dudley boys in AEW. We'll see. But you know, guys, one thing that I thought was pretty cool, it was about like a 2 minute segment or a commercial break or something. You saw kind of like a skyscraper and clouds in the sky. And I thought they were trying to promote like a movie or something. And all of a sudden you saw the Hook signal, kind of like the bat signal. So Hook's going to be coming back. Don't know if it's going to be for Forbidden Door, before Forbidden Door, after Forbidden Door, but we are going to see Hook. And we gotta see what happens because he wasn't too happy with Samoa Joe last time he saw him. He helped him out to win the match, but then he kind of dipped off on him, didn't want to shake his hand or hug it out or nothing. So Hook is pissed. Um, don't know who Hook's gonna hook up with or possibly wrestle, but there he's gonna have Samoa Joe and those guys, the ops, are gonna have some explaining to do. Even though it was nothing wrong, Hook might take it the wrong way. But I am happy to see Hook back. Not sure if he was out because of injury. At least that's what they said it was. But Hook, we saw your signal. Can't wait to see you. So the Bucks did have a match. They teamed up there with Sean Alexander and Kyle Fletcher from the Don Callis family. So they're kind of building a team there. But when the Young Bucks came out, no respect. You saw just a bunch of pyro going off. It looked like it was a mistake. And then you have the announcer go, "Oh, and by the way, we don't have any music for the Young Bucks today, so just enjoy the pyro." So Young Bucks are pissed again, looking like jobbers. Um, and honestly, you actually heard that when they came out to the ring before Kyle Fletcher and Sean Alexander came to the ring. They were actually like, "Oh, jobbers, like fucking with them." So it's definitely coming across like the Bucks are under everybody's thumb. At one point you saw Moxley looking for the Young Bucks and they were in the extras locker room. So no respect. They don't even have their own locker room, no music. They're still getting shitted on. But, during the match, like always, fuck Don Callis. Kyle Fletcher looks amazing. Sean Alexander, uh, the Young Bucks, they are showing me stuff. Um, but it is what it is. You had like Brody King, you had Hologram, Ishii, and I forgot the other guy's name, so sorry about that. But good match, another good match. Honestly, I would have rather see that match before what we saw in the main event. That was a better match. The women was good. This like 4-on-4 match was good. It was better than the ops. I understand that it was a championship match, but these two matches were better. They should have been before that, but that's just me. Um, but again, Kyle looks good in this match. Kyle's going to be the future of AEW. I know they talk about the four pillars, and for the longest time, it was like Jack Perry. It was, I think it was Jack Perry. You had, wow, drawing a blank. Jack Perry, MJF. You had Darby Allin, and you had, and Sammy Guevara. Right now, I think Kyle Fletcher took one of those spots. Um, he's heavily shown. Man looks great. He's in great shape. When he went through that, honestly, he looks better bald with a shaved head. When he had like that little mushroom haircut, old school, put the bowl on your head and just shave around. That's what he used to have. Um, he looks strong. Kyle Fletcher looks great. He's going to be with Don Callis for a while. I think at some point he will leave the Don Callis family, do his own thing, but Kyle Fletcher is going to be there for a long time, guys. Mark my words. If I'm not mistaken, he already re-signed with them. The Gates of Agony re-signed. So they have a lot of people re-signing with AEW. Shows you good long term. One thing I do want to talk about, you did see, what was it? A lot of people talking about like MJF, not MJF, MVP had issues with Speedball Mike Bailey. And MVP actually talked about, he was like, "Yo, if you don't hear it from me, don't believe it." He's like, if it doesn't come out of my mouth, don't believe it. Because they actually had like a little thing that they went like a Comic Con or something to that effect, and the Hurt Syndicate walked up to Speedball and goes, "Yo, we got a problem." He was like, "Nah, man, we good." So it's either they did that to pretend like nothing was going on, or like he said, "Don't believe unless you hear it from my mouth first." So, um, it is what it is. To be honest with you, the last match of the night was the Ops versus LFI. Roosh always looks good in the ring. Um, Samoa Joe looked tired, so I don't know if that's part of the gimmick because he got hurt during the last pay per view. He's been off doing like I think shows or appearances for the new show he does. Man, forgot the damn show. Twisted Metal. There you go. So he's doing Twisted Metal, so he looked tired. So I don't know if that's part of the gimmick or he's just really tired from doing all the all the appearances. But Hobbs went in there, went ape shit on these guys. Shibata went crazy. Joe just looked tired. And that's what I mean. Like, that was a quick match. As good as Roosh is with his team, as good as Samoa Joe, Hobbs, and Shibata is, the match was rushed. I know why it was rushed though. Um, you saw Hangman leaving after the match, and he got attacked by MJF at the end. He was like, "I'll see you at Forbidden Door." So it makes sense why it was rushed. But I also feel like the women's match and the Young Bucks match was better than that main event. Um, I get why they did it. They didn't want you to think about the main event. They wanted you to think the last thing was, MJF getting over on our champion there, Hangman. So I understand that, but I just feel like the women's match and the Young Bucks match, the tag team match, was way better than that. But appreciate you guys waiting for me. Like I mentioned, I've been gone for a couple weeks, so thank you guys for being patient. I'll try to go back to doing 2 to 3 episodes a week. But again, guys, this is AEW episode 48 there, for AEW 813. So thanks for watching, guys. Y'all have a great one.